If you like my videos, please show your support by clicking on that subscribe button at the end of the video. Or you can give me a thumbs up, or you can leave me a comment. Anything like that is fine. All these things help me to get the best out of the YouTube algorithm and grow my channel. And with your help, I can. Even better, you can visit my website at livelinktraining.com, where I've got loads more videos than I can fit on my YouTube channel because there is a maximum amount I can get on there. And you can do that by clicking on that subscribe button at the bottom of any page, or clicking on me subscribe to my newsletter. Okay, what are you going to learn from this video? Well, number one, we're going to learn how to create a selection. Number two, we're going to learn how to create a group and add a group layer mask. Number three, we're going to learn how to add and use an adjustment layer. Number four, we're going to learn how to change a layer blending mode. And number five, how to select a colour from an image using the colour picker. So with plenty to go at, let's dig in. Okay, let's start by learning a little bit more about colour. Now we can define colour in a lot of different ways. Let's just have a quick look at this. We'll just bring up the colour picker for the foreground colour. And what we can see here is a vertical bar here. And this controls what they call the hue. And this here is the number for the hue. And look at this hue, saturation and brightness here. This is one way of defining a colour. And it's a bit like mixing paint. If you mix 52 parts of hue with 98 parts of saturation and 98 parts of brightness, you'll get a colour. And the colour you'll get will be here. This is the selected colour. So the hue slider, if we move it up and down, we can change the hue because the hue is the colour. But if we want to change the saturation or the brightness, we've got to go into this square. And if we grab this little colour circle here, and if we drag it basically horizontally or right to left, we're changing the saturation of the colour. You can see it getting less saturated. And if I move this up and down, then I'm changing the brightness. So we're going from a bright colour down to, well, black at the bottom. So that's how we are going to define our colour for this particular exercise. We're going to define it in terms of hue, saturation and brightness. There are other models. Here we've got R, G and B, and we've got a lab space, an LAB, and we've got a print space which is CMYK. All these, they look complicated, but they all reference exactly the same colour, this one. So this colour here is exactly the same. If we put 44, minus 13 and minus 20 into the lab colour space, we'll define that specific colour there. Okay, now let's put that into action. What I want to do is change the colour of a sofa. And I've put a little yellow colour swatch as part of the image because that's the colour I want to change the sofa to. Now here we are with the image, and I've got the sofa down here, and I've got the little yellow swatch up here. So this is the colour that I'd like the sofa to be at the end, but I'd like it to be maintain all the shadows and all the edges of the sofa itself here. So first thing I need to do is to make a selection of the sofa. Now my tool of choice for this is going to be the object selection tool, and I'm going to set that to the mode of rectangle. I've got two options, rectangle and lasso, and I think everything else is about right. Yep, I think so. I'll put it into add to selection just in case I need to add or subtract something from the selection, and then I'm just going to start up here. Well, no, that didn't work. Oh, it actually has, pretty good that. Okay, and I'm going to start up here and click and drag and just put it as close as I can to the edge of the sofa, and that should make a pretty tight selection for me. That tool is amazing. I do like that tool. Now if any bits of this have over or under selected, you can just use add to or subtract from selection to make it up. Next I need to create a group and apply a mask to the group, and this is so that if I put anything in the group, it'll be controlled by that mask, so I won't have to do separate masks on every layer. So to make a new group, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel, and I've got this little icon here and it says create a new group. If I click on that, and here we've got the new group, and then while the group's selected, what I'm going to do is go down and I'm going to place a mask on it. So I'm going to add layer mask. And what it's going to do, that's going to add a layer mask based on the selection that I had, which was of the sofa. Right, now I'm going to add a colour. And I'm going to do that with a new fill or adjustment layer. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel, I'm going to click and I'm going to select solid colour. And that's going to give me the colour picker. And now what I need to do is move my mouse out of the colour picker and onto the yellow swatch. And when I click, it'll select that colour, and that is going to put the colour onto the sofa. Now because this is in my group 1, it's going to be restricted by the group mask, so that restricts the colour that I've added just to where the sofa is and not to the whole image. And we can see it doesn't look that good, it's just completely covering over the underlying texture. Right, I can click OK and that's fine. Now we can see it's not really showing any of the texture through, so I need to look at that. So what I'm going to do is make sure that that colour layer is selected, and I'm going to select a blend mode of colour. Now this blend mode of colour, what this does, it applies the hue and the saturation, but it doesn't apply any brightness, it just applies those two. So my next job I need to do is to give it some brightness, and I'm going to do that with a levels adjustment layer. Now I've got to make sure that this is actually in the group, because I want it restricting to the group mask. So I'm just going to lift it up a little bit, and I can see that blue line going all the way around, and when I drop, I know now that it's in the group, and I want it dropping below the colour layer. But now it's still restricted to this mask, and that's great, that's what I want. So now if I go into the adjustment in the properties panel, and I can pull the white slider over, and I can take the mid-tone slider over, and now I can see that the colour, I'm going to match that up, not actually that bad, quite easily. And what I'm affecting now is the third component of colour. So the colour blend mode affected the hue and the saturation, and now my levels is affecting the brightness. And now you can see that I've got a lovely colour match now, and I've got all the detail from the underlying sofa. Okay, let's have a quick recap. In today's video, what have we covered? Well, we've covered number 1, how to create a selection of the sofa. We've covered how to create a group and add a group layer mask. We've learnt how to add and use an adjustment layer. We've learnt how to change a layer blending mode, and we've learnt how to select a colour from an image using the colour picker. Well, that's it for matching colour on an object. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, please remember, click that subscribe button at the end of the video, leave me a comment or give me a thumbs up. That will be absolutely brilliant. Okay, I'll see you in the very next video. Bye for now.